What's up, guys? Down Delivers here. So today, behind me, we actually have my 2022 Ford Maverick. I have just reached 80,000 miles, so that is a big milestone. I'm almost to 100,000. I've only had my truck for little over a year now, so that's a lot of driving in that time. All right, guys, so these are in no particular order. We're just going to start off with kind of the stuff I like about it, so the pros. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is the affordability of this truck. So this truck comes in around 31 to 33,000 dollars. I believe I got it for $33,000 altogether. This is still the luxury package, so I still have heated seats. I have the big display. I have a bunch of other things. That's a really good price for still the middle package, like an XLT. If you get an XLT F-150, you're probably going to be upwards 40 something, $45,000. Base model 40. I know this truck is way cheaper than a lot of it, and affordability comes in with like good gas mileage and stuff like that. So that's one big reason I got this truck, is it fits my price point. My payments for this truck are around like $480. My payments aren't super low because I'm a new financer. They kind of finance me a high payment because I'm just new, don't have very much credit. But don't get me wrong, 480 is not a crazy payment still. Like, I know my cousins, they pay around like 700 for his Tacoma. He got a big Tacoma. It's another like $15,000 more than this truck. It is the highest model. It's a TRD Pro. This thing is bang for the buck. I really think that's one of its strongest points. Next thing I'm going to talk about is the reliability of this truck. So I've had it for 80,000 miles now. So if that doesn't speak volumes, and I put it through a lot of hell for being a first year truck with no really huge problems, I'll take that right now. The biggest problem I've had with this truck is probably the exhaust shaking a little bit, make a little bit of noise, but I fixed that just by tying it down a little better. The LCD screen inside, that freezes a little bit, but not really that bad. I just reset it. There's a few recalls, but I've just been looking at the stuff that the recalls on. Hasn't been a problem yet. That's also something. My warranty is expired. My warranty has been long gone. When you start upgrading your truck, modifying your truck, that's where kind of more stuff happens sometimes, because stuff's not meant to go. Like the OEM stuff always kind of works the best, at least for longevity sometimes. So the only thing I changed is the tires, which I got bigger tires, which that really has changed things. Probably a little bit more stress on the CV joints and stuff like that, but that's really nothing. I've had those on, bigger tires on, for probably 50,000 miles now. This truck's super reliable. I've never had a problem with it. It hasn't left me stranded besides getting pop tires, which isn't the truck's fault. But yeah, I really think this is a super reliable truck. It's cheap, reliable. That's two things that are super important when you're looking for a new vehicle. So the next thing is, this Ford Maverick is super ergonomic. The way they made this truck, I could tell they really put a lot of thought into it. Everything is designed for functionality. Like under the seats, we have a lot of room under there. The back seats actually dip down, and the roof is super high, so it makes it feel like the inside is really big. So that's one thing that really opens up the Maverick compared to like a Tacoma or something. When in a Tacoma, you feel like you're almost in the roof. So that's one thing. Like even like the bed, like we have the bed rails, we have a bunch of different kind of little bed accessories. Can fit plywood in there, completely flat, has tie downs, has a bottle opener. There's a bunch of different like ergonomical things. And one thing I really like too is the door handles. They actually are like spaced, almost a hole in them. I really like those. At first they look kind of weird to me. I was like, that's a kind of a weird door handle, but I really grown on them and they work super freaking good. Like I can just reach in there. I don't know. It's just something that I notice every time I get in the vehicle now. The body of the truck, I really like how it looks. One truck I really did not like, and I was scared it was going to look like, because when I first heard about the Maverick, was the Honda Ridgeline. I really don't like how the Honda Ridgeline or the Santa Cruz looks like. I really just don't like it. They both kind of look like minivans, trucks. This one actually looks like a truck. It does have a little bit of like a mini truck look, which is good. I like mini trucks. I'm really happy with how it came out. I'm going to put the lift on. I know I say that every damn video, but I'm lazy. It's cold. It's been raining here in California for like 10 years, I swear. It's been snowing too. So I will get that on eventually, but we're talking about the next thing. One of the biggest reasons I got this truck was for the MPG. So even with the bigger tires, I'm sitting around 24 to 28 miles a gallon. And without the tires, I was sitting around 28 almost all the time. The lowest I would get is 24 when I'm like dogging on it. I'm going fast. I'm chilling. And that's one thing. This truck actually does have a good amount of power for a little truck. Like it gets up and goes. That turbo spools up. You can feel it. So that's one big reason. So I travel a lot. Like I said, I have 80,000 miles on here now. I travel big long trips, 24-hour trips, 30-hour trips, 10-hour trips every weekend. This truck, the gas mileage, I can't be more happy with it. I really wanted a truck for a long time, but the gas miles would just kill me. I drive around my dad's F350, and that thing was a diesel hog. I drove around my sister's F150 for a while. That was a V6 F150, just a two-door also, and that thing still only got like 18 miles a gallon, which is good for a truck. But this thing, couldn't be any happier with it. That's one of the big reasons I got it. Gas mileage is phenomenal compared to a lot of different things, and I still have the functionality of a truck. I can still go off-road. I can still put stuff in the bed, even though it's only a 4.5-foot bed. It's not the biggest bed in the world, but it still can hold stuff, and I use it all the time. I put dirt bikes in there. I could fit 3 full-size dirt bikes in there. I fit a bunch of tools the other day. I fit literally anything you can think of. I can squeeze it in that bed. One of my favorite things about this truck is just how it looks. As you can tell, I got the Area 51 color. It's kind of like a bluish green, and this color gets so many compliments. Really, like, I'm not joking. It really does. I really like this truck. People coming up to me like, "Hey, what kind of truck is that? What kind of truck is that? Oh, that color's awesome. Everybody likes it." And I kind of say she's a little dolphin because she's kind of like a little dolphin color, a tiny bit, you know. Her name is actually Flipper. That's her name. But yeah, so the way it looks is super good. It once it gets a lift on, it's gonna look more mean. Also, once I start getting some more income, I might put some bigger tires on there when I can afford gas easier and stuff like that. But yeah, so this is a Ford Maverick, and I love the way it looks. Like everything on here, even the stock wheels, the stock FX4 wheels are really nice. I really do like these. I was worried on getting because I almost got the XL with those ugly little steely wheels, and I knew I was gonna have to get some soon or get some ASAP after that. Which I'm happy I went and got the XLT because I really like the luxury package amenities like the heat seaters, I mean the seat heaters, and a bunch of little things like that. I really like it, like the cruise control. I use that all the time. You know, I love cruise control. So, like I said, this is the FX4 and 4K tow package. So that's where it comes in. With the regular Maverick can only tow 2,000 pounds, and this thing can go 4,000 pounds. And I've have 4,000 pounds on here. Second to most weight, I actually towed a trailer. It was my uncle's trailer. I believe it has a dry weight of like 3,300, and it was full of stuff. So I would say it probably weighed around like 36, 3,700 altogether. Maybe almost 4,000 with the water in there also, because I'm not sure if he had water in there. I just picked it up and drove it for him. So I'll throw some video of that in there. But this truck handled that super good. It did squat pretty damn far, which that would, if you guys had the 2 bars, stability bars, that would equal out a lot of that. And if I had the lift, it'd be a little bit higher. So that'd help a little bit also. But this thing can tow 4,000. It has plenty of power to do it. I was holding 55, 65 up the mountain, and it was doing it just fine. Gas mileage did go down a lot, but that's expected with any trailer. I got the 4K tow package because I really needed to be able to tow something up to 4,000 pounds just in case, because we ended up pulling trailers. We ended up doing a bunch of stuff on the trail. So that really helps to have that peace of mind that it's in there, and it has extra transmission coolers, which is a good thing. Climb mountains. We climb a lot of mountains traveling and stuff like that. And if I'm towing, hauling wood, it's just nice to have the extra safety of having an extra transmission cooler. One thing that I think really applies to a big range of people is that this truck drives like a car. It's super easy to drive. It can park literally almost anywhere. I park in compact parking spaces all the time. I've drove this through San Francisco. I drove it through LA. I've drove it through Phoenix. I've drove it through a bunch of little different things. Drove it through Albuquerque. I've drove it through a bunch of different towns. And I have the experience to say that this thing fits everywhere, especially in San Francisco. Streets are small and the parking is even smaller. This thing gets around there. And the suspension always feels super planted. I take it up into the mountains with a lot of curving driving and stuff like that, and it does handle that super good. It stays planted to the ground with the all 4 independent suspension, which that could be a blessing and a curse for off-road. For the amount of road driving everybody usually does, no one's going to get this truck to be a straight only off-roader. So I think the 4 independent suspension is a good addition to the truck opposed to leaf springs. And this isn't a frame-on body. This is a unibody, so it's the same as like a minivan or a car or something like that. So that's one reason it does feel like a car, drive like a car, and it feels really good. The power feels good. Never struggle up hills or stuff like that. thing drives like a car, and I love it for that. And the next thing, like I was saying earlier, this thing gets up and goes. It does have power. I'll throw the horsepower and torque up on the screen right now. When I say this thing's turbo, you can feel the turbo spool. You could feel it in the beginning. It kind of takes off fast because it's a all-wheel drive. I have raced a PT Cruiser, my friend's PT Cruiser, and I actually whooped him really bad. That's the only thing I've raced in this thing because this thing isn't a race truck, so I don't want to race it, you know. But yeah, so I did smoke a PT Cruiser. If you want to race a PT Cruiser, I believe the PT Cruisers are turbo also. But yeah, this thing has really good power. Towing trailers, I never really struggled like that or anything. I never feel like I've low on power, even with the bigger tires. These tires are heavier, and I had the even heavier KO2s at home in the snow, mud. I never felt like they would weigh me down or take a lot of my power and even my gas mileage. One of the deal breakers when I got this truck is I needed it to be all-wheel drive because I travel so much. So that means I go through a bunch of different kinds of weathers, different seasons. I travel all year through the wintertime, the summertime. So I needed something that wasn't gonna or something that was gonna give me peace of mind when I'm going through the ice, when I'm going through the snow, if I have to go through the muds, and sometimes we're camping out in the woods. So that's why I got the all-wheel drive. And the all-wheel drive works phenomenal in this truck. I'll throw some video of it off-roading. It really does find traction really good, like really, really good compared to other all-wheel drive things. I would compare it to a truck with four-wheel drive and limited slip. That's what I would kind of compare it to. It works really good. And I never have to worry about turning the trash or turning the four-wheel drive on or anything. I just drive. So like it really gives me ease and comfort of just being able to chill, relax, and drive through the snow, the ice. I have pulled many people out in this thing already, and I have been stuck myself a fair bit amount. Biggest thing that this truck lacks is ground clearance, so that's one thing that really holds this truck back. Solved a little better if I had my lift in, but I don't have my lift in yet. So yeah, the all-wheel drive system works super good. Trust me, I put it through the test. I put it through a lot of different obstacles. You guys will not be disappointed with this. I do more off-roading than the average person, so you guys shouldn't have a problem. Another thing that I found myself using all the time are the mini outlets. So we have one in the bed, one going to the back seat, bunch of phone chargers. So we have like 4 different places to charge the phones inside the cabin, which I love that because I have all my friends in here. You know, I'm 22 years old. I have my friends. I go visit my friends. We go out. Everybody's trying to charge their phone on a late night, and I usually have like 4 chargers in there, and we get all charged, and they all work good. None of the outlets have burnt out on me so far, and I use them almost 24/7 all day. Charge different things like my knickknacks in there. We have a cigarette lighter, USB-C, USB, USB-C, and a regular USB in the back, and also that outlet. And then we have a big outlet in the bed, which I've used that to charge drills. I used it to run a skill saw. I used it to run a jigsaw. I've used it to power a speaker, like a big like a concert speaker almost. I use that to dance and stuff. Just use the outlets for many different things. I really always thought it was something like, oh, that's a luxury I didn't need, but I really like having the outlets. It's super nice being able just to charge anything like that on the go. And it came in handy many times already. And I didn't think it was going to come in handy. Save myself going to look for an outlet to go plug into the side of a building or something like that. Heated seats. These heated seats work super good. After riding dirt bikes or after dancing all weekend, I'll come in, I'll turn the heated seats on, and I'll just sit there and I'll just relax. And it feels super good. It gets super hot. Everybody gets in there. My girlfriend, she loves them. She just turns it on, lays back, goes to sleep. Everybody gets in there, turns them on, and it like burns your back. And it has 3 different settings, like a low, a medium, and a super high setting. The high setting is really good. Even if your back's hurting, sometimes my back hurts because I do a lot of outdoor activities and I'm out all the time. So I'll turn that on. I'll just sit in my truck sometimes. Sometimes I'll just go in my truck, just sit in there and hang out. That's how much I love my truck. So one of the last things I want to talk about is how big this interior is. So what Ford basically did is they dropped the base low and they raised the roof really high. So it gives you a very big, spacious feeling. I've had many people in here, they all said it's bigger than the Tacoma. So that's one thing. And the Tacoma is a bigger truck than me, but the back seats are bigger, the front seats feel bigger, and overall it just feels like a more spacious truck. So as you can see, like the roof is super high. I have had my friend in here. He's 6'6". He's like 300 pounds. He actually fit in here, put the seat all the way back and all the way up, and he actually fit and didn't hit the roof. He still had like 2 inches, 3 inches and then his feet didn't hit the steering wheel. So that's a really good. If you're 6'5", you're gonna fit in this truck. If you're 5'4", you're gonna fit in this truck. If you're 6 foot, you're gonna fit in this truck. I'm 5'10", and I fit in this truck like perfect. Like I feel like I'm in a big spacious mansion. Of course, it's not gonna have as much room as like a F350 or a mega cab or something like that, you know, but it's still more room than a small truck, than other small mini trucks. Another thing I want to talk about is how many cubbies this thing has. I'm sorry, the truck's a little bit dirty right now, but we have the cubbies down here. We have a cubby up here, a cubby up here. We have cubbies on the side. We have the glove box. We have cubbies over there. We have actually cubbies on the seats, under the seats. Sorry, everything's back here, but cubby right here, a whole thing under the seats. So that's where I keep all my recovery equipment down there. We have cubbies in the doors. We have a bunch of different cubbies in here. I think that's where it shines really too, is because there's so much little stuff you could put in here. You know, I keep all my recovery equipment in here under the seat, and it all fits perfect. I have like a Yankum rope. I have a Rhino rope. I have a 2 hitches in there. I have a pair of truck claws. So everything fits super good. It's one thing I really like. And just the interior, it's super comfortable. Super comfortable. I travel in this 24-hour trips and I never had a problem in here. It doesn't hurt your back or anything. I'll turn the seat heater on and I'll be able to relax on the drive. The seats are super comfortable. Everybody who gets in here, they never have a problem with the seats. They always say it's a really comfortable truck. Even the back seats can get tiring after 20 hours because they're not straight up, but they're not laid back, you know. But that's with any car, even if you're in a big car, unless you're able to lay down in like an RV or something. After 20 hours in the back seat, you're not gonna feel the greatest. But in the front seat, I've drove in this seat so many hours, so many hours, that I really know how the seat feels, and it feels really good. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the cons of this truck. There isn't really too many because I am a big fan of this Ford Maverick. I don't really have too much bad to say about it, and we'll go there now. So the cons about this truck, there isn't too many, but one of the big ones that I really notice is I kind of wish I had a lariat just for the leather seats. These cloth seats, they are getting dirty. I do clean them every once in a while. I scrub them down and use the vacuum with the water. And like even this one right here, you can tell it's starting to get like just kind of stained in there. That's just from being outdoors all the time. I get dirt on my pants and they just get on here. And then the headrests are kind of dirty, both headrests. And that's why I have this seat thing back here just to keep the seats clean in the back when I throw my boots in there or something. It's one thing I wish I had. And it's not really a big problem. It's not a problem with the truck. It's just a problem with what I picked. So yeah, that's just one thing I had. The biggest thing about off-roading with this truck is that it doesn't have a lot of ground clearance. So it really struggles on deep snow, deep mud. It will find the traction if its tires are on the ground. But right when it gets high centered, it really struggles to find traction. It really struggles to get through that because it's not too heavy too. So it can't really plow through it and squish it. So that's one big thing. I'll put some video of me getting stuck just because of ground clearance. Everything usually works good. Finds traction when it's on the ground. All the wheels are spinning, but it won't go because I'm sitting on my butt. I'm going to be installing the 2-inch lift pretty soon. That will kind of solve a little bit of that problem. The next thing that you might run into trying to get a Ford Maverick is the markups. So this truck is a little bit less new now, so the markups I believe aren't as bad, but when it was brand new, this truck was getting marked up like $10,000. Luckily, I found one that didn't have a markup. Like I said, I got it for $33,000 altogether, and I'm super happy with that price. I'm literally ecstatic. Markups are really bad, so be careful when you're looking for a Maverick. It might be good to pay because you'll get it earlier, but then it's a markup when they shouldn't be doing it anyways. The next thing is actually about this guy right here. So this guy is not the best display. Kind of slow compared to my dad's F351, but it does get the job done. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it does freeze up every once in a while. The radio really never quite works quite right. I can never search for different radio stations, which I never really use the radio, but if I did need to, it'd be nice if it worked. Every once in a while it'll work, but I never really get on there, so I never really catch the good times. I always catch the bad times. So that's one thing. This display isn't the best. Never been to the point where I'm like, oh my god, this display, I can't use this display anymore. Next thing is being a small truck. The max, even with the 4K tow package, is 4,000 pounds, which isn't a ton of weight. If you're getting a small truck, you're not getting it to tow something. I do want to get a little trailer, which once I start making some more money, I will try to get a little trailer for you guys and tow it around to different pals, which I think would be super awesome. I think it'd be super fun. I want to get a little trailer soon, but that's one con, is that you can't tow too much, but 4,000 is enough for most people. Most people aren't going to be towing more than 4,000 pounds anyways. Another thing is coming back to a little truck. It has a 4.5-foot bed, and that is a tiny bed. It doesn't really fit a lot of things. A dirt bike can't fit with the tailgate up. Mountain bikes can't fit with the tailgate up. You have to have the tailgate down, but you can solve that by just one ratchet strap, just making sure it doesn't fly out. So that's another big thing. Like I ran into, like not being able to fit stuff in there, but stuff is always okay to hang out the back, just not the sides. I got around that, just kind of learning to deal with it. I've always grew up with 6-foot beds. My Dodge Ram 3500 back home has a 6-foot bed, and my dad's truck has a 6-foot bed. So I've always been kind of spoiled with that. I'm like, man, this truck's bed's tiny. So that kind of sucks, but not really. The next bone I have to pick is with this guy right here. So this is the auto start stop, and this thing is annoying. I turn it off. I know there's a little thing you can get for it that turns it off completely, but this thing is annoying because when it stops at a stoplight or something, you can't turn your wheel. Your wheel is locked because it turns the engine off. I believe it turns the power steering pump off, so that's why. But if you do turn it, it will turn the car back on. So that's one thing that's just annoying. It's not a problem. It doesn't affect the truck at all. So going back to ground clearance, another thing is that the exhaust is super low. It just kind of bangs on stuff sometimes. I'm always scared it's going to pinch and get messed up, but that's the only thing I really have to say about that. It's just a really low exhaust. The last thing that I have to say is a con about it is this engine sounds like a little lawnmower or something. It doesn't really sound that good. I know you can get exhaust for it and it sounds better, but the actual engine doesn't really sound good. It doesn't sound bad necessarily, but it doesn't sound like a good sounding engine, you know? It just sounds like a little EcoBoost, which isn't like the most friendly, awesome sound you can hear in the world. Next con is actually the speakers. So the speakers in this Maverick are not very good. They'll get you by if you're not really a big music guy or something. They're fine. I've been using them for over a year now. I'm going to be changing them out pretty soon. But if you are a big music guy and you're really into speakers, you'll know these speakers aren't very good. So I'm going to be replacing them with some like JBLs or something a little bit better, because I listen to music the whole time I drive. I have to entertain myself somehow when I travel 24 hours. So that's one thing. Speakers are bad, but they don't suck. So guys, those were all my cons about the Ford Maverick. Those are all my pros and cons. I'll put a big list of everything on the screen right now, but I'm just going to say, if I could add a couple things to the Maverick, I would have adaptive cruise, which I really wish I had. I really, really do. I would have leather seats, or I would have the trimmer package, which I believe the trimmer package comes with all of those. That's what I would want. Those are my wishes and stuff. So there you go, guys. This is my review of the 2022 Ford Maverick. I have 80,000 miles. I'm going to be hitting 100,000 miles in no time. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Like, comment, subscribe. Go and check the links in the description to get discounts at Lasfit and Auxbeam and different kind of things in my Amazon store. I really appreciate if you guys subscribe. It takes 2 seconds. It'll help me out a bunch and keep me motivated to make videos. Just help me out and grow my channel. Thanks for watching, guys. Down Delivers out.